Hey, I'm in Mexico. It's Todd Herman, and I'm here with Fred Funk, professional golfer of acclaim and fame, and found out he's a very engaging, fun man. He used to box. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a unique background for a golfer.
Yeah.
But you can see I'm not a football player.
If you look at Steve, he may well have been a football player. Steve Anderson is the managing partner of Renue Healthcare in Mexico, where Fred and I are both receiving care. And before we get into this crazy thing about you getting your life saved, which as a professional athlete had to be a mind blower, I wanted to ask you, I get liberal people tell me all the time, President Trump cheats at golf. The only reason he wins at Mar-a-Lago is that no one will challenge him, and he's doing, I don't know golf, but he's doing all sorts of cheating things. Right off the bat, is he a good golfer?
He's very good. He's a great guy, really fun on the golf course. I played with him 5 times, and they were all been at Trump International, where he has a course down in Palm Beach. And he's just so much energy all the time. It's amazing. The guy, especially what he does on a daily basis, and goes to sleep late, gets up super early, and then he gets on the golf course, and he loves the game of golf. And I'd say he's a legit 6 to an 8 handicap.
And that's really good for people who don't golf. I mean,
that's very good.
An average Joe, Steve says, is a 20?
What, the average?
Average Joe, what's the average?
Yeah, probably 20. You're shooting 88, 90.
Okay.
20, 25 probably, yeah.
Yeah, even higher. President Trump, he's an amazing driver of the golf ball. He hits the ball really solid off the tee. Hits his irons very solid. He has a weird putting stroke. It's not a yippy one. It's just kind of super long follow through.
Well, you showed this at dinner, and
the chipping is, I call it a yippity chippity.
Okay.
Because he gets there and looks like he's got either electric something hit his body or a snake, and they just trying to get this thing to get through. But he's very, very good player, and he does not cheat. He's passionate about the game.
Yeah.
What he does do at our course, or when I had played with him, we played from the blue tees, which are one from the back. And he's exactly 10 years older than me. I'm 68, he's 78. If he played the proper tees, he'd be up on the senior tees, way up there. And he'd be hitting it a lot further than even where they're putting his ball up. He hits it out there. And sometimes he's actually with me. He hits a low one, and I don't hit it very far anymore, especially. And he'll run it out there. But if not, the caddy will kick it up there to usually my ball, because mine's the first one in the fairway, for the second shot. And that's just so we can all be together all the time.
Yeah.
And we're always talking. He's always open. You can ask him anything. There's no filter. As you know, he has no filter.
Yeah.
And he's just a great guy to play with, but he's passionate about the game, and all his golf courses that he has his name on are fantastic golf courses. And maybe the best golf course in the world is Turnberry, and out in Scotland, and he's done a renovation there. I thought it was the best links course in the world anyway, and now I hear it's much better.
Yeah.
So he puts a lot of money, a lot of pride into his golf courses, and it's fun to play.
Yeah, that's cool to hear, because I had this feeling that no, he doesn't cheat, it's far too public, people would figure that out. But again, he's a Russian asset, he's all the things that he's not. And
well, I guarantee he's I didn't mean to interrupt, but I guarantee he's the best playing golfer that's ever been a president.
Really?
By far.
Okay.
There's nobody can touch that guy in the presidency that has a game like he does.
That's cool. That's good to hear. You get a ton of golfers down here, Steve.
We do.
And a ton of pro golfers.
Yeah.
And why?
Oh, I think for them it's that kind of repetitive motion. If you step back for a second and think about it, we're not supposed to live as long as we have, right? I mean, we were supposed to kind of die in our mid-40s.
Yeah.
And now we have these folks like Fred and others that have had that kind of repetitive motion for such a long time, and the human superstructure wasn't built for that. And so we see a lot of, like Fred, we see wrist, that lead wrist that hits the ground, and lumbar from that torque and twist that happens. So, and as they get older and they play, I mean, Fred, you've been playing competitively. In fact, in a couple of weeks, you'll play in your 1,000th PGA Tour event.
PGA Sanctioned event.
That's right.
And I played 650 on a regular tour, and hard to believe, but 350 will be my 1,000th event in Houston in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's amazing.
really excited about that. I'm proud of that, actually, because it just means you had a lot of longevity. You've stayed out there, and I was able to keep my, call it your card, but my playing privileges out there, which is based on talent. You're only out there if you're good enough, and nobody's putting you in. It's no coach or anything. So if my game fell off, you're off the tour, and I've managed to keep it since 1989. And I played a lot of golf in that time because I was a late starter too. I didn't start till I was 32 on the regular tour. I was a golf coach. I wasn't good enough early. Finally, I got good enough, and I really had one goal. It's funny goal. One goal was to keep my card one time, keep my playing privileges one time. And I got through Q school in '88 for the '89 season. I didn't have a good season. Had to go back to qualifying school. I got it right back for the '90 season. I hadn't had to go back. So I've had this career now that I kept it a lot more than once. I kept it about 35 years.
Yeah, you may not know this, but he was the head coach at University of Maryland for 7 years, almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Well, I love the story of being 32 and getting into professional athletics. I mean, that doesn't happen. Yeah. I mean, I don't know golf at all. Everybody knows I don't know golf, but that doesn't happen. But now, like all these years later, coming up in the 1000th tour, you came down here for kind of the repetitive stress stuff, as I understand it, the stem cell stuff.
Right. I came down here for a lot of other things. It's a wellness center, basically, and I came down here 2 years ago the first time, maybe 3 now, I guess.
Yeah, could be.
And I got stem cells in my back, directly in your back, that you just had done. And that really helped me a lot. It took a little while for it, and they said it would take 3 to 6 months, and I remember somewhere around that 4 month later, you wake up and you say, I feel a lot better. And then I've had them injected like I did today, and I'm hooked up. Had stem cells put in today that it's an IV that the stem cells just go in your body and they go running for inflammation. And it's amazing. And then you get a lot of other treatments. You got the hyperbaric chamber. But what really happened was the last time I was here was something totally unexpected. I came down here to do the stem cells, but I had a buddy of mine who was a fighter pilot. He's like a Tom Cruise type guy, and last year he did his military physical, passed with flying colors. His friend of his told him to go get the scan, a CT scan. He said, I don't want it, I don't need it, I just passed. Well, he got the scan. He didn't want to get it, but he got it. Emergency quadruple bypass surgery. That night, That night, they took him in, they cracked him open, and saved his life. They said that basically had no idea. So I was down here, and they have the CT scan here at the hospital that's adjacent to Renue, and I didn't expect anything. I just took it because it was here, it was available. I didn't expect anything, and then I had surgery that night to put in 3 stents. I was 98% blocked in 2 arteries. The Widowmaker was one of them, the so-called Widowmaker, but had I not done it, I mean, I was a walking time bomb. And there's a lot of people that are walking time bombs. I mean, you just never know with what's in. You could be in great shape like you are, work out all the time. You have no idea whether you got the clogged arteries or not.
And by the way, at any one time, we don't know the exact number, but we think it's somewhere between 12 and 15% of the population is walking around without real symptoms that they can identify that are kind of a walking time bomb.
And you guys invested in some tech that helps people see, doctors see, not a flat image, but a full life kind of 3D image of the heart. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So we actually own the CT scanner that's in the hospital itself. And it's called the Kelly Burns Center for Cardiac Tomography. Very close friend of mine. Again, like Fred, no symptoms whatsoever. Didn't get the scan done and dropped dead one night of a heart attack at 52, right? And so that's when we finally said, hey, we need to do something about this. And so we bought the equipment and the technology. We use a company out of the United States called Clearly, which is kind of the industry leader in the AI technology now, where we can actually advance the age of the heart. But it basically makes a full 3D rendering of your cardiovascular system, if you will, and we can look down the the arteries. We can flip them around and look at the outside. What a lot of people don't know is that their plaque can form outside the arteries as well. And so it's really, the technology has come a very, very long way. And then ultimately, I would say maybe 8% of the scans that we do, we find a real issue.
Yeah.
Like that, where we need intervention either immediately, or we'll send them home immediately to go see their cardiologist if they have one.
It happens to viewers and listeners of my podcast that they came down for stem cell treatment because they heard me talking about it. And then, if I recall the story correctly, it was the spouse, right? Not even the person who was here for treatment. And you'd suggested, hey, you should get your heart looked at.
Yeah, I saw her sitting in the lobby, actually right here, next to where you're sitting.
Yeah.
And I said, "How you doing?" Introduced myself to her, and I said, "She said, I said, how you feeling?" She said, I didn't know if she was a patient or, so I always ask, "How you feeling?" And she said, "I'm really tired." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Have you been able to sleep?" And she said, "No, I'm really struggling to sleep as well. I'm just, it's like tired, but I can't sleep." And I said, "Have you ever had any cardiac issues?" And she said, "Well, yeah." She said, 5 years ago, I had to have bypass surgery. I said, there's technology today that probably wasn't available in that format back then that can give us a look. And sure enough, she went in, and then, like Fred, immediately we spun the team up to the interventional folks to go in and to put stents in. That's
just, and well, praise God that she lives and went home. And I think I got to talk to her husband, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what blows my mind is I'm a guy who, on a pretty regular basis, gets my heart rate up to 194 beats per minute, which is pretty good for late 50s. All the time, 175, 180. That now I'm thinking I should go get this checked. But Fred, you walk how far every day as a golfer? And you are still a professional athlete. So how many miles do you walk per day, and how mind-blowing was it for you that you were that close to a heart attack?
Well, you're walking 5 to 7 miles on the golf course.
Every day.
Every day. On the Champions Tour, you can take a cart. I usually like walking, but recently I've been taking a cart due to other reasons. What I was doing, though, coming out of this winter, I was doing, people will laugh that know my game, but I was doing speed training for golf. So I was doing overspeed training. I was doing a lot of stuff that you're going really quick, you're going really hard for short burst, and then you rest, short burst again, and you're going really hard when my heart rate's just flying.
Yeah.
And I was riding my bike pretty hard at home, so I was trying to get some speed up to get competitive again.
Yeah.
And it was working. And I was doing that for the 2 straight months prior to now. It's been almost 2 months. I think it's been 2 months since what happened to me when I had the scan. And I was doing all that with that in me, where I had a blockage, and I could have dropped. I mean, I really could have dropped. I was thinking back, and I'm just going, why didn't I drop dead if I had 98%, which I did? That's pretty close.
I think the reason why you're alive is all the walking. What happens is that when there's blockage like that in the arteries, you have these little vessels that grow and work around to try to compensate for it. And I really think that's why you're alive today. So yeah, actually, Fred, this time when he came down, yesterday with our cardiologist, Dr. Molina, we did a treadmill stress test to confirm that the stents had worked, and great news, his heart's in great shape.
Yeah. So former boxer then, I guess, now that your heart's in great shape, and then we can go out tonight and all three of us go kick around, maybe start a fight, get you maybe beating someone up. As long as it's against a 12-year-old or a 100-year-old.
Yeah, right.
I think I can hold my own in that case, right? Hey, you know what? I am duty-bound to say this as a Christian guy, and that is that God saves people for things. You are asking something like, why didn't I die? It wasn't your time. So I hope you're thinking about what God saved you for, because he saves us from something for something. And, you've been so key to golf, and golf's been so key to you. Do you have any zeal to continue to hand that off? I know you used to be a coach, and to continue to work with young guys and young women and stuff.
I haven't really got that long. I can't let go right now. I still love playing. I love the guys out there. Yeah. We have a great fellowship out there, both the Christian part of the fellowship that we have, and then just the ordinary fellowship.
There is a Christian fellowship on the tour.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. I believe there's coincidences are not coincidences.
Yeah.
You know, it happened for a reason, and I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I believe that there is a calling for sure. And I have a platform where I can really help. But I'm a very, I want to say, I love being around people. I love having fun with them. I'm self-deprecating about my humor, kind of, but I can also look forward to playing fun golf and giving back in that way with juniors. I do a lot of charity stuff with, and all the golfers do, where we raise money for Folds of Honor for the military, the fallen police officers. I'm big into both of those, first responders and our military. I love doing things with, but there's also a lot of stuff that I do, and we all get asked. All the players get asked because a lot of the players have their own charities, and we get asked by them, hey, help me out this year and be at the charity and raise a lot of money on the golf course. And that's the great thing about the game of golf, is that across the board, from every athlete to every musicians, rock stars, lawyers, Congress, golly, I'm rambling here a little bit, but politicians, football players, baseball players, we can all meet on the golf course, and they all do because they love the game of golf that much, but we can raise a lot of money for all these different causes in one day, and it's fantastic. You can't do that in other sports. Now, I'm not going to get in a boxing ring and do it for charity because I'm going to get my head kicked in.
Right.
Or I'm going to kick the other guys. You can't fake boxing. I can't get on a football field and do that.
Yeah.
But all these people can come to golf and do it. So it's a great format to have that opportunity to spread the word and just give back. Basically.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I love the charity and the spreading the word, and it's great to know there's a good Christian fellowship there, because that's not the case in a lot of sports. I mean, there are sort of Christian fellowships that are a minority, but I'm seeing a culture shift, man. I see people at the Super Bowl now thanking Jesus. I saw people thanking the Lord at NBA games and NCAA games, and they're not blanking that stuff out anymore. So
the media now, they're not blanking it out. They're showing. You see the football teams come together after the game, that both teams, and they're all together in a huddle that are the believers, and they're praying together and thanking together and blessing together, and it's fantastic to see that, because usually it wasn't a year ago, 2 years ago, you weren't even seeing that. Now you're seeing it where the cameras don't shy away from it anymore. Let's put it that way.
Praise God, because I guess that's been going on, and I was going to say for whatever reason, but I think I know the reason they didn't want people to see that. Mm-hmm. But there is a massive culture shift, and I've noticed something, that when people become politically conservative, so often it leads them to Jesus. And that's what I'm talking about in my cast, but now I could get down a rabbit hole. And I wanted to ask you, Steve, Fred has played golf with President Trump. Mm-hmm. You know President Trump.
So I've been around him a fair amount of times, yeah.
So here's what I hear about President Trump. Me. I've heard from a few people who've been with him privately that he can be very gracious, very interested in other people. How have you found him?
Well, yeah, I think the persona that you think of is that he just wants to have people listen to him and be heard. And I have a kind of experience, mostly from afar, but up close a few times, where he really just wants to listen. And I think that's really interesting for a guy that has, obviously business is, one of the things that I've aspired to do my whole career, be successful in that endeavor. And just being able to listen to someone like him who's been so successful would be really amazing. But what I found is that he asks more questions than he's asking, not telling, which I think is really interesting.
That's super encouraging.
Yeah.
It's super encouraging. It's a sign of intelligence too. And it's a sign of humility, which is something I want to see in the president.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see humility. When he muffs a shot, when he does poorly, does he freak out? Does he blame others, or does he laugh?
No. He's so funny. He never complains, and he's very accepting of. I've never seen him slam a club. I've never seen him, what was that, or anything like that. I'm the one doing that.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, thank you, and man, I'm glad God saved you. And
thank you.
I think I'm going to have to spend some time around golf, because every time I meet a professional golfer, I find out they're really cool people. So thank you, Fred Funk. Appreciate you.
You're not going to find a more humbling game
Oh, dude, trust me. People say all the time, the only reason you don't play golf is you couldn't. I'm saying, spot on. You got it exactly right.
That's right.
Thank you again,
Todd,
Steve. Appreciate
as
it
always,
very much.
thank you.
All right, we're at Renue.healthcare in Mexico. Well, Renue Healthcare, but the website is Renue.healthcare, and this is healthcare. It's not disease care. And I hope if you need it, or you think you need it, I think you go to the website, simply talk to them about what's going on, and they can tell you how they can help you. Renue.healthcare.